What's up everybody, it's Matt from Peter Glenn, and in this video we're going to talk to you about the step-on bindings and help you figure out which binding is best for you and your riding style. Let's check this out. So the step-on system is growing every single year from Burton. And if you're not sure exactly what it is, it's pretty easy. It's a boot and binding system where you can not only get in and out of your bindings very fast and very easily, but it also has a lot of performance benefits as well. And we'll leave a few links in the description down below to a few more videos about step-on to go a little bit further into that. But one of the biggest questions that we always get every single year is people look at the different models of the step-on bindings and they want to know which binding they should get. So when it comes to a lot of the hard goods, I always say if you spend more, you get more, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's better. And with step-on, that's no difference. Starting out with the Reflex step-on, this may be the least expensive binding in the lineup, but this actually spans from beginner to advanced riders, and anybody can benefit from it. This is kind of the OG when it comes to the step-on lineup. Very comparable to, let's say, the Cartel from the regular binding line. It rides everywhere, it's for every skill level, and you can literally ride the park, ride the powder, and everywhere in between. I always say that if you're looking at all the different step-on binding models and you're still not sure which ones to get, just grab a pair of these. Take that extra money that you're gonna save from the other models and put that into a pair of boots. Your money's gonna go a little bit further in a pair of boots than it is in a pair of bindings, just like with regular strap bindings. So next up we have the Genesis for men and the Escapade for women. So these are the exact same bindings in men's and women's versions. And really the big step up in this one is in the high back. The base plate, the rest of the binding is pretty much exactly the same as the Reflex, but the high back on this has their kickback hammock. And this is something that came from the standard Genesis binding in the regular lineup. It's kind of a suspended piece that has kind of a trampoline style effect to it where it flexes a little bit as you lean back on it. So when you're going onto your heel side edge, it's actually helping to smooth out that carve from your toe side to heel side. Then when you have this thing flexed and you come off of your heel side edge and you're going back to your toe side edge, it's helping to kind of push you a little bit to your toe side edge. So essentially it's taking the binding and it's smoothing out the feel while still keeping it quick from edge to edge. Now this is definitely a nice upgrade compared to the standard Reflex, but if you are more of a beginner rider, you're not gonna feel the difference between these two bindings. These are a little bit more for your intermediate and your advanced riders who are gonna spend the extra money and they're gonna really notice that feel and really benefit from that smoothness in the high back. But that being said, even if you are a beginner rider, you might not need this high back. If you wanna go ahead and spend the money on it, it will benefit you in the long run as you progress and get better as a rider. And the next up, we have the Genesis and Escapade EST step-on. These are brand new bindings for 24-25, and they're for the exact same riders who are riding the standard Reflex version of the Genesis and the Escapade, but these will only mount on the channel system. So just like with their standard Reflex versus channel bindings, these do the exact same thing. When the board flexes, there's no base plate underneath the EST model, so it can flex with your board, giving you a much more natural flex out of the board. You also can feel the board underneath your feet better. I always tell people that if you have a Burton board with the channel system or from any of the other companies that do have the channel and you need bindings, get the EST version. The reason is because you know it rides better. It doesn't cost any more than the Reflex version, so Burton's not trying to make any more money off of you, but if it didn't ride any better or significantly better, they wouldn't bother making it because they're selling it at the exact same price. So for me, I always say the only reason to not buy the EST version of these bindings is if you maybe have multiple boards and some of them don't have that single channel mounting system and you want to be able to swap your bindings from board to board. But if you are riding one board, or if all of your boards are channel, the EST version of the step-on is definitely the way you want to go. All right, and then last up we have the X, and this does come in men's and women's versions, and this thing is pretty insane. The base plate and the high back are a 50-50 carbon nylon blend. So literally half of this is carbon and half of it is nylon. And yes, this makes this binding incredibly lightweight, but that's not the reason to get it. This thing is very, very quick edge to edge. When you lean and you go to flex this thing from toe to heel, the binding itself does not want to flex. That carbon makes it really, really stiff. So it picks up your board and gets it on edge from heel to toe and toe to heel very, very fast. This is definitely more for those advanced riders. If you are more of a beginner, intermediate rider and you're thinking, oh, I want a super lightweight binding, honestly, this is going to be way too much for you. Also, for those advanced riders, you're probably going on a little bit stiffer boot like the Photon or the Ion to drive this thing. All right, so as you can see, from the Reflex all the way up to the X, just like with regular bindings, if you spend more, you get more, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. They're just for different riding styles. But if you have any questions beyond what we talked about in the video, definitely leave some comments down below. We're on there every single day trying to answer your questions. We want to make sure we can get you in some rad gear, but most importantly, we want to make sure that it's going to fit you and it's going to fit your riding needs. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, and definitely get that notification bell on too so you can find out when all the new videos drop. And head on over to peterglenn.com, find the step-on bindings that are going to work best for you and your riding style. Grab the bindings, grab the boots, and get out and ride. Because any day of riding is a good day of riding.